Hey guys, Aaron with Full Torque. Welcome back. Today we got a pretty amazing lineup for you. We have right behind me a 2019 Mclaren 720s versus a 2018 Porsche 911 GT2RS. They're actually pretty similar. The twin turbo V8 versus twin turbo flat six, both making around 700. The McLaren's making 710 horsepower. 2RS is making 700. The McLaren is 568 pound-feet of torque, and the GT2RS is 553 pound-feet of torque. So very similar, both two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So
no, that was close. That was spicy.
We're in the 720s, guys. Heading up to our undisclosed closed location. We've got a GT2RS in front of us that thinks it's the best car out there, and we're gonna challenge that. These two cars, the 720s and the GT2RS, they're actually very similar in price. Used wise, the GT2s are still a little bit higher, but they've come down a lot. So price wise, you know, they're in the ballpark. Performance wise, I don't know. Like, I've driven both cars and spent a lot of time with both of these vehicles. They're both freaking crazy. I don't know which one's better really, because like the 2RS is like, it handles really well, but like the 720 like handles really well too. The 2RS is crazy fast. Like for a Porsche, like dang, like it's fast. Like it's terrifying fast for a Porsche. But 720 is just like mind-blowing fast and doesn't make sense fast. So I'm a little more taken back by the 720 speed than I am of the GT2RS. Like the GT2RS, like it's like really aggressive, but you know, the 720s, it's like boost by gear, all this stuff they have. Like the top end of the car really is terrifying, that mid and top range, where the 2RS just kind of rips right out of the hole, which is really, really aggressive, and it's like, holy cow. But this car is just like, whoa, why is it still accelerating this hard? We are going so fast already. It is still pulling super hard. And that's something I can't say I've really felt in the 2RS. I already know that the PDK is probably going to outlaunch the 720. The PDK is so good. It's so fast. I don't feel that from this car. I've never launched the car and been like, oh my gosh, like it reacts so quick. It doesn't. Sorry, it doesn't. It's a great car. The transmission's amazing, but it's the launch control compared to a Porsche launch control. It just doesn't feel as snappy, and it doesn't react as quick. So either way, I know that the GT2 is going to take this car off the line. If I had to be a betting man, I think it just reacts quicker. I think it's going to get ahead of the 720, but I just don't know if it has what it takes to like keep the 720 away.
So I personally have never ridden in the GT2RS, but I have ridden in this McLaren quite a bit, and this car is terrifyingly fast. From an outside perspective, this car does not launch anywhere near as hard as that 2RS does though. But they are both rear-wheel drive, they are both turbo cars. Yep. And I think it's just gonna come down to who can put the power down better, and in my opinion, it's gonna be a matter of how much road there is. I think the 2RS will launch harder, but I think if there's enough road, this will catch up to it and keep going.
Yeah, I agree. That is a unified agreeance right there.
Words.
this car, 2019 GT2RS.
No, it's a 2018.
Oh, shit.
2018.
2018 Porsche 911 GT2RS.
Unlike a lot of the GT2RSs out there, we believe hard work and efforts of the engineers at Porsche and actually driving these things and seeing what they're all about. I don't want to be biased, but I'm obviously going to win.
I would agree. I'm going to agree.
So this car makes 700 horsepower and has 553 pound-feet of torque. Its top speed is 211 miles an hour, but that is only because they electronically govern this thing. It can go up to 220 miles an hour, but they govern it down due to tires. The restriction on the tires that are on there or whatever for safety.
That's impressive though. 211, considering the big wing on the back, the big front splitter, that's a lot of downforce.
That is a lot of downforce. In fact, it makes nearly 1,000 pounds of downforce
at the top speed,
211 miles an hour.
I have a sneaky suspicion that the 720S doesn't make nearly as much downforce.
Really?
Call me crazy.
Interested to learn. Let's talk about pros and cons of ownership. So the GT2RS is pretty expensive, although the 720S is new. If you're buying both of these new, if you were able to pay MSRP on something like this, then McLarens actually can get more expensive than this. However, purchasing these used, you can get a pretty substantial price break. I think a used 19 McLaren, and we're talking like with 500 to 800 miles on it, you'll see them going for like the 260 to 280 range, and depending on how they're spec'd out, that can be higher or potentially even lower. But for around that price range, you can have an essentially new 720S. The big difference is taking the GT2RS in for service. Roughly $350 to $400 for like your basic services. Obviously, there's more in-depth stuff, which is still a lot more affordable to maintain.
I feel like you just feel the road more. Like you feel what. Ah! We just hit something.
We both just hit some sort of like raccoon. What was that?
I thought it was like a fat bird.
Anyway, back to what we're talking about. The maintenance on a McLaren, and it also will depend on where you live. We live in Utah. We do not have a McLaren dealership here, so we have to ship or drive our cars to either Denver, Colorado, or Scottsdale. Scottsdale's like 11 hours away. Denver's about 7.5, 8 hours away from us. So there's an expense there just to get the car there. Then I know, I think an oil change or a service like that on a McLaren is every 10,000 miles, and it's roughly $3,000 to get that service done, plus the cost of getting the car there. So substantially more expensive to maintain the McLaren. So things to take into consideration if you are going to buy one. Also, before all you people comment, oh, this car was meant to be driven on the track, not in a straight line. Yeah, we get it. We don't own a track. We don't have access to a track all the time. We do have access to private roads that are straight all the time. So that's why you get a lot more of these videos. But we do have track videos before. We actually just posted a video of that 2RS being tracked, and Jace getting fairly squirrely. So go check out our other videos because we do track these cars as well. We just don't have access to the track as much as we do a private straight road. You getting nervous?
No, I'm okay.
Hey, can we place bets now? Going 2RS for the win.
You're so
Motor blows up. So as of right now, the car is refusing to go into launch mode.
Yeah, I've had struggles with this. Launch mode unavailable. It's done that before, but then it usually will, like, you'll hit it again and then it'll be good.
So far what that tells me is 1 point for the GT2RS.
6.5 hours later.
Wait, what's happening?
So it says in here to see owner's manual, which I did. When I went through the settings, it said that your coolant temperatures of your ride, doors to be closed, and I was surprised. I thought you could launch with the doors open, so I'm glad it let me know about that. And then it said, oh, make sure your atmospheric pressures and all this stuff. Well, we're at like 7,000 feet where we're at, and it's basically, I think that's what the issue is, because it only does it when we're up here, and this is a high altitude area. So McLarens don't launch at high altitude. Cool. Did launch control and confirmed without fail. The second I came to a quick stop, I hit launch, it went right into launch mode, and it lets us do launch control. So that confirms that elevation throws off the computer on these cars at higher altitudes. We dropped 3,000 feet, I would say, miles.
Yeah, probably.
So anyways, that's a little irritating that I couldn't get into launch control. Another aspect of maybe something to think about, the 720S and GT2RS.
All right, it's a new day. We found a different road that we could close down to redo this video. So we're back to GT2RS, McLaren 720S. They're going head to head at an altitude that this can actually get into launch control with.
Point at me, I'll rev up. Point at him, he'll rev up. And then as soon as I give you thumbs up, you go whenever you want after that.
Yeah.
With the 720. I got him on the launch, and then he kind of hooked up and stuck right with me, but on that last little bit he pulled hard, like he was coming up quick. So that was not expected. That was a little bit different result than what I was expecting. That'll be a close finish, because I actually think he may have got me on the finish line by like a couple inches. That's how close this was.
Oh baby, you got a car on me. Oh, 720's bringing it back in. Woo! Yeah! Oh, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, he immediately, I mean, this is a little delayed off the steering. Like when you left the brake on these cars, they are a little delayed. We started pretty close though, and Jared just jumped car length out in front of me as soon as we left. And this left good though, not as good as those dang Porsches, but it was interesting. So took off, he jumps out of car length. And I can tell, like, second gear, he hit second, he even pulls a little bit more, and then I hit into third gear, probably the same, close to when he's hitting third gear, and I can tell, like, the boost by gear in this car, the amount of power I got in third versus what he got in third was just completely different. I mean, the second I hit third, he stayed pulling about the same he was, and my car just, boom, pulled in half car length, and 3/4 car length. I hit fourth gear, we're even. By the time we're at the finish line, I'm going past them. The top end of this car, when you're third gear and above, just starts annihilating. It is insane.
and we got going. I'm like, oh, I think I got him. I think I got him. I can't believe how fast he started pulling during probably the last 20% of that. He was moving super quick. It wasn't just like a little bit, like he started pulling up real fast. That was insane. I can't believe how fast he started pulling to the top end. That thing's impressive.
So you guys are probably gonna say stuff in the comments, which is cool. I don't mind that, but just so we can explain it a little bit. When we were at the starting line, I had Miles point at me, point at Jared, but I needed him to wait for my car to say boost ready. I just wanted to make sure we're giving this race an actual fair race. So as soon as I got boost ready on my dash, I just gave him a thumbs up and I told him you can go right when I do that or after, it's up to you. And then he dropped his hand and then we're able to go. The Porsches, as far as I know, the GT2RS, Turbo S, they don't really have like a, okay, in launch mode, wait for boost, and then, okay, boost ready, where the McLarens do have waiting for boost, and then boost ready, and then you're good to go. So. On that one, we're a little bit closer to the finish line. We don't have a way that we can map out exactly the distance that we're going. I basically launch great and then hold for the quarter mile or close to the quarter mile, and then if we were doing a half mile, he would probably have multiple car lengths on me in the half mile because that thing just flies. That's 1-1, we're even. GT2RS round 2 takes the win, and 720 has round 1. So we're gonna do a roll race where we're even, 1 and 1. Let's see where these cars do off of a roll.
We'll go up the road, get up to the speed, and then we'll take off at the camera.
That one?
Jared, just kidding. That's me, I smoked him.
So it's pretty definitive that the 2RS is the monster on the bottom end, but if you have the space, this thing will take it every time?
It is. You know, this car is just a monster. You know, once you get past that launch, 60, 70 miles an hour, we were probably doing about 55 when we hit you. Second gear was probably 45, 5,000 RPM. Second I got on it, it was a little delayed, but Jared kind of was with me as we took off, and then the second I got over 6,500 RPM, it just started going, and then pounded the next gear, and it just kept gapping out on the 2RS. So straight line, this thing's a monster. I will say, I think they designed the 2RS more to have that punch because it's a track car exiting. It wants it to have that come out of the hole quick, where this car isn't really coming out of the hole as quick, but it makes up for it in the mid-range, high range, everywhere else. So absolutely 720s are stupid, and it would be sad if McLaren doesn't get their stuff together, because you're just not gonna be able to have a car that beats hypercars anymore for 200 grand. Thanks guys, subscribe, like the video, subscribe again, like again, subscribe again, and then like again, because that actually might make you unsubscribe, but then you have to hit the button again, it'll subscribe you again, and then I think you like it. There's a little ring bell, hit that.